Bob Spector treated thousands of patients in his 40-plus years as an Atlanta neurologist, but recently Spector found himself as the patient when he started repeatedly falling, at times ending up in the ER. Fortunately, he found help, and the Fox Medical team's Beth Calvin joining us to talk about what happened. And Beth, falls are scary.
They are scary, and we're talking about a guy that was in really good shape and exercises all the time, and he was really losing his confidence because he was never sure when he would fall again. And Spector needed something to help him regain his balance, and he thinks he's found it.
Take a step up on for me. All right, ready? Hands down.
At 77, Bob Spector is now a believer in a type of therapy he knew nothing about until a few months ago. And it started with a pretty big problem.
And hold on.
I was falling down a lot.
The retired Atlanta neuro-ophthalmologist was constantly losing his balance.
And it was incapacitating. I stopped driving. I couldn't walk between narrow areas. I couldn't do anything that required movement and balance.
And once he was moving in one direction, Spector says he couldn't stop.
One time I went in straight to a tree, and I was about 50 feet away, so it wasn't as if I didn't have a warning that the tree was there. I just couldn't get out of the way.
Doctors don't know exactly what threw off Spector's balance, and there are likely several factors at play. He tried physical therapy, but he was still getting tripped up.
At the worst that it was, I couldn't even stand up on 2 feet without wobbling.
In December, Spector came to Physical Therapy Balance Center in Atlanta.
So this is what we're going to do.
To work with Shantha Nithiananda, a physical therapist who's also board certified in neurology. And in his prior therapist notes,
she was saying, he's having up to multiple falls a day, and they're really scary ones, and it's stressing his wife Lori out. He's had to go to the ER before because he's broken fingers trying to catch himself. You're going to step up onto it.
So Spector Nithiananda got down to work. She specializes in neuro rehab therapy, working with people with neurological disorders to retrain their brain and improve their balance and movement and walking.
Here I was a neurologist. I knew balance. I knew nothing about rehabilitation. As I kept on saying to Shantha, geez, I never knew this existed.
One of the key things that helped with Bob is we have this overhead support system.
Held up from above, Spector can avoid getting tripped up while they work on his balance.
And that really gave me the freedom to take someone with an athletic mindset and really push him and challenge him to do things that would not have been safe in any other setting. They would not have been possible. I wouldn't have dreamed of doing them if we didn't have this kind of setup.
Spector has a hard time navigating narrow spaces without falling, so they're working on that. And on a treadmill, he's relearning how to slow his body down without stumbling once he's moving.
Drop the arms and keep going. Because I have an overhead support over it, we can speed up and go faster than maybe he's comfortable with, fast enough to really drive those brain changes that are going to help him with his balance.
It took 2 or 3 weeks to start seeing some small improvements, but after 4 months,
he's walking with more confidence.
Spector still occasionally falls, but he says he hasn't hurt himself in months.
I mean, there's a world of difference. I didn't realize there would be a world of difference.
Bob is doing really well. I couldn't be happier that the falls have been less. He's not injuring himself when he is falling.
Their goal is no more falling.
Good job today.
And they're getting there.
100% better. Not back to perfectly normal by any means, but 100% better.
But I think we still have room to go. I agree with Bob. Let's see how good we can get it.
And as we get older and become less active, our risk of falling goes up. And Nithiananda says people can get caught in this sort of vicious cycle where they're moving less, so they're falling more. And because they're falling more, they stop moving. And Bob Spector is really relieved that he's found a way to sort of break out of that cycle and sort of start to move back into some of the things he's enjoyed for years, but hasn't been able to do because he didn't want to fall again.
And when you lose that confidence in just your balance and your ability, that
it takes everything away.
Yeah, it does. So it's great to see that this therapy is working for him. Good stuff. Thanks, Beth. Well, a couple